Today I'm with Bilal Bham, and Bilal is the Managing Director of Bham Pharma. Welcome, Bilal. How are you?
Thank you very much, Mick. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Great, great. Just kick off and tell us a little bit about your business then.
So I run a company called Bham Pharma Limited alongside another one called Bham Digital, but that's a smaller business. But Bham Pharma is what we call a medical communications consultancy in the pharmaceutical industry. So there's many of us around, some massive ones, global ones, and then obviously small ones like mine. We write up clinical research, we create marketing materials, we write journal articles, abstracts, posters, presentations, things like that. The pharmaceutical companies about the science, the clinical research that they do and they perform. My business currently, including me, there's 15 of us. I have got big plans moving forward. I'd like to grow it and see how far I can go. I've got my kind of take on how I want to run a business and how I believe the industry or any industry should be regarding kind of not just the profitability side, that's one thing, but also how a business should function in terms of working for and with its employees.
Great. So how does that look?
Well, it's a combination of having a work-life balance. Many companies in our industry do work 60+ hours a week, and the people just get rinsed in and out of the business, which I don't think is necessarily right. There are some very good people out there who are taken advantage of, but there are also some very good people who will leave. And for me, I'm like, okay, well, money is great, but if a business just makes money, it's a bad business. So my philosophy is, obviously you've got to be profitable for a business to be able to reinvest and what have you, but also at the same time have a good work-life balance of around 40 hours a week per, everybody working 40+ hours a week, well, 40 hours plus minus 10%. Me personally, I work a lot more because I'm the boss, but that's expected. But for everybody else, you have a good work-life balance, they get paid good wages, and they have enough life. Like, for example, we work essentially 37.5 hours a week or 40 hours a week, whatever it were. But we work those hours and finish them by lunchtime on a Friday. So we essentially get a 2.5 day weekend, which is great. Now, obviously I don't, because I still have to do some stuff, but for the rest of them, they can go off and, if they want to catch a flight for a weekend somewhere, or, take their mind off work, which is important, gives them kind of time to relax, recuperate, and then come back in energized and enthused on a Monday morning.
Love that. Brilliant. So what sort of customers are you dealing with?
We have a mix because we're small and we are still trying to find our footing in the market. We have small biotech companies and small pharma companies, and we work with companies who are much bigger than us, agencies who outsource to us, and also big companies called contract research organizations. They perform the clinical research for the pharma companies. They all have their internal departments, but when they have surplus, they work with companies like us. And these, as you will know, big companies work with big companies, not the little guy. So somehow, some way, we've got to kind of, find our way into the market and get an opportunity to get those big contracts at some point.
Okay, and for potential clients and indeed current clients, what would they see different about you versus other options that they might have in the market? What differentiates you from others? Well,
we're not corporate, so we are very formal. But in terms of, informal, I like to say that we're smart casual, basically. So we like to have a kind of rapport with our clients. We like to get to know our clients, understand exactly what their needs are, and then we aim to align ourselves with how they want us to be. So we essentially become an extension of their team. That's what we want to do. That's what we do. And we're very fastidious about how we go about ensuring that what they want is what we provide. Obviously, we give our consultancy because sometimes what they want might not be what they need. But we're honest about that. We have 3 simple mottos in our company: always be polite, always be professional, and always be direct. And with that, it allows us to have an open and very honest relationship with our clients. The other thing that many companies will do, indeed across industry, will be take on too much work even when they can't do it, and then can't deliver it, and then that means that it looks bad on you, but also the client's timeline slip. We don't do that. If you offer a project or a series of projects and we can't do them right now, we can do them later, we'll tell you. Some companies just keep taking stuff on, and then they'll outsource it and then take the credit, whereas we literally do the work in-house. In terms of, we have a freelance support that we use, because in our industry there's a lot of freelancers, but 99% of the projects we do are internal. So that's what you get. You get a personal relationship. You have somebody who knows what they're talking about the project. When it comes to you have a lead. You also get to speak to me. I'm the managing director, but many managing directors kind of disappear. I don't. I'm still on the front foot, talking to clients, ensuring the client liaison is there, but also on my team, they're well trained and well versed in how to deal with clients in a professional manner to ensure, and also asking the right questions to get exactly what it is that they want done within a time frame and within the budget they've asked for.
Being in the pharma industry, it'd be interesting to understand what impact the pandemic had.
On us, we grew. So for us, we just had a lot of work coming in because I think perhaps because there were less people going into the office, there were less distractions. I guess there are distractions at home as well, but there was a lot of work that got done. We grew. And we were already home-based anyway. We're a completely remote business. So that did impact us well, whereas others were playing catch-up, and now they've got this issue of hybrid and working, trying to get people into expensive offices, and we don't have that. So our overheads are much lower.
So what does the future look like, Bilal? What's the main challenges ahead?
Main challenges ahead is breaking into more pharma companies and trying to win work, because a lot of them they get blinded by the idea that bigger companies are better, but it's not always the case. And we have some of these clients who are big companies, and we do good work for them, and sometimes we wonder how they win the work. But for me, the challenges will be to keep the staff together, because we're not the biggest, and obviously other companies can come in and pay more salary than we can, but at the same time we will treat you better. Some ex-employees have found out, to their detriment, because the grass isn't always greener. So keep a harmonious environment at home, as it were, and go out and win as much business as we can. Find the type of clients that we want to work with in the therapeutic areas that are important to us, and continue to grow. And that's the goal, to grow, to develop nationally and internationally. So I used to live in Germany, so I speak German. So I want to break into the DACH region, as it's called, Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And in America, there's a lot of pharma companies on the east and west coasts. We already have a client on the east coast. We've also got one in Texas, but we'd like more small to medium companies rather than the large ones. They will always work with the big agencies, but you never know, we might have an opportunity. But work with companies who've got our similar kind of ethos, which is, we want to get the work done, do good work, and create long-term partnerships.
So optimistic future.
Have to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, there's fear there as well, but you can't give into the fear. You have to think positively and go, okay, well, what can go right?
Great approach. So what have you learned about yourself over the years?
That I'm a lot more resilient than perhaps I thought I was, but I'm also very determined. I knew these things because that's what got me through university and allowed me to thrive abroad. But I was always decided on having my own business, but I didn't quite know how I was going to go about doing it. But then it came about that I will do whatever it takes to make sure that we're successful, but also run it fairly. So I'm a good person. I'm not one of these people that thrives on being cutthroat. There are times when you have to be like that, but in the end, business is business, and you've got to do what's right for the business. And you've got on a personal level, I've had to take myself away from situations or jobs within the company which I'm not good at. Like, for example, I'm not as intelligent as some of my team, so they can hold a lot more information. So we've got somebody who looks after all the project coordination, because I can't handle that much information. They can. So that's one of the kind of examples. Or admin side, I've had to get somebody in for admin because I just didn't have the time for it. And also it frees me up to go and actually do billable work, depending on whether I'm required on a project, or go out and do business development. So it's about priorities. It's about personal growth and development. It's about courage. It's about having that tenacity to keep wanting to move forward despite short-term hits. Sometimes, as I said, it can go quiet, and you've got to be able to ride that, because you've got to look at the entire year in a 12-month span versus in a month. 1 month might be rubbish, 2 months might be rubbish, but the next 6 might be absolutely stellar through no fault of your own. It just happens like that, but that's business.
Some great observations there, yeah. And finally, Bilal, with the benefit of hindsight, knowing what you now know about the business and how things have developed, if you could turn the clock back, what might you do differently?
create a database quicker. I left it 3 years too late. I started my business as a freelancer in 2011, and then had kind of things on pieces of paper, but actually create a database, which is, I think I started in 2014. But I think I've pretty much caught up everybody that I've contacted via LinkedIn or email. That's one thing. But to be fair, everything has happened at the time it's supposed to happen. And the growth of my company happened when I was ready, as opposed to me wanting it, but not actually being ready for it.
Yeah.
So just accepting that everything happens at the right time. That's not me being all superstitious and that kind of thing. It's just literally things do happen at the right time. And I was able to handle the growth of going from me to three people, and then bigger.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much, Bilal.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you very much, mate.